Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of
America, and
to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks. Jesse?
Yep, the notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been met by transmitting the notice of the regular meeting to the Commissioner's official newspaper on February 9th, 2023, posting the notice where required, and filing a copy of the notice with the Commission Clerk. The Deal Lake Commission meetings will be audio and videotaped and will be shown on APTV, Optimum 77, and throughout most of Monmouth County on FiOS 28. Allenhurst.
Present.
Asbury Park.
Here.
Deal. Interlaken. I saw Carol. Yep. Lock Harbor. Is Melanie? I think Melanie was supposed to be there tonight.
She's here.
She's
Okay.
connecting. Yeah.
Okay. Neptune.
Here.
Ocean.
Here.
We have a resolution to approve the minutes of the reorg meeting, January 19th, 2023. Someone please offer to have the minutes of the reorg meeting passed, approved.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Allenhurst.
I wasn't there.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Asbury Park.
Yes.
Interlaken.
Yes.
Lock Harbor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
There you
Okay.
Neptune.
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
Bruce, did you get the bill list for tonight?
I received the list. Yes. Would you like me to read it?
Yes, please.
All right. So our balance on hand from the previous month was $138,024 in one fund and $42,824 in another. The total on deposit beginning of the month was $180,843.85. The Borough of Deal was kind enough to cough up their money. So the receipts were $1,750 and the total available was $182,593.85. We had total disbursements in the amount of $9,503.30, making the total balance is $173,090.55. And I'm not really sure what these details of balances are, but the amount that we had at the end of the month was $173,090.55.
Someone please offer to approve the treasurer's report and pay bills.
I'll offer.
Second,
Interlaken.
Allenhurst.
Aye.
Asbury Park.
Yes.
Interlaken.
Yes.
Lock Harbor.
Yes.
Neptune.
Yes.
And Ocean.
Aye. Yes.
Aye. Okay, Don, take it away.
I have a question on the treasury, on Rick's,
Sure.
I guess I assume he got all the transfers done, all the signatures all done,
Yes.
and we're good to
Yes.
go. All right, good.
We'll do
Great.
we can do checks tomorrow.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks. And as everybody, just to refresh everybody's memory, is Lorraine retired. I think she retired from all her jobs in the government, and she retired from the Deal Lake Commission. So we still have to, Carol and I still have to work a little
Yeah.
clock up on that,
Yeah.
and we'll
Yeah.
get together next coming weeks and figure that one out. But anyway, she had long service to Deal Lake, and we recognize her. We'll be recognizing her for that. And Rick's, dove right in, and in a short period of time has come a long way, and I wish him luck.
I hope he doesn't get mad at me.
There you go. So we got the 2017 grant, 319 grant. We're still working on. We're close. We have a signed contract, I'm happy to say, with Precise Construction, and they're going to be going at it shortly because we got our extension letter to the end of April from the state of New Jersey. At the same time, we asked for the extension to the end of September. So better late than never, I guess. But we're going to try to get the contract done by April. If not, we're going to ask again for another extension to September and see where it goes. But we hopefully will get everything in and complete. Pete, you want to go over those details a little bit?
No, simply that the contractor is aware and ready to mobilize as soon as weather permits to start work. It should not be a long duration project. The longest item is probably going to be the first item, which will be relocation of the drainage structures to allow the water to go into the rain garden or the infiltration basin, into a series of pipes and then discharge into Wesley Lake.
And,
So we'll let you know when he's ready to start, but hopefully by next month, he'll either have started or will be immediately ready to start the project.
right, and there's two locations, just for the public. There's
Pilgrim Pathway,
two locations in Ocean Grove. Pete, you want to just
Pilgrim
describe?
Pathway at Wesley Lake, series of sidewalks where the roadway ends directly into the lake. And then the fire lane immediately north of Pilgrim Pathway on Asbury Avenue, which is an open, there's a disrepair sidewalk and an open swaled area to the lake that will be regraded to configuration to act as an infiltration basin. And then typical vegetation landscaping for a rain garden.
Yeah, let me just show you where it's at. It's one's right here, I believe, right in this spot right
That's
here.
exactly right where Pilgrim Pathway ends.
Yep.
And that green line to the west is
There's
the
a
first
live
fire.
shot. There we go. That's better. So
There
it's
you
going to be
go.
right in this box.
Yes.
Yep.
And even further south from there.
Oh, really? Okay.
It goes over the existing sidewalk.
Oh, it does. Okay. And then the other one's down here. I can't tell me when to
Right
stop.
where you were.
Right here?
You missed it. No, right where New York Avenue comes in. It's a fire lane.
Right here. Okay. And that's the other one. So it's
That's
two
correct.
big areas, a lot of rain and water going in there. Anybody have questions on that while we're here? Okay. Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
And we also have a tree box that's actually going in very close to Bruce's house.
His living room.
We haven't told him yet, but there's
Yeah.
a tree box going in right down this one house from Bruce.
Nice.
I got my shotgun ready. Oh, better not be coming up on my property.
There you
I
go.
got my still running. I don't want anybody. I don't want no revenue was coming up there, you know?
That's good. That's good. Oh, boy. And if we have any money left, any trinkets left, we're going to try to get another tree box over by Nick's Pizzeria. So.
Well, you can get it out of my still.
The NJIT, no update on that. They're still rolling along with that. Steve, you haven't heard anything, have you? No. Okay. They did go for
I
another
haven't heard
grant.
anything.
Yeah, they went
Nope.
for another grant. I don't know if they got that one. Nobility Crest, no updates on that, but the biggest update there is, we helped out with Jeannie, myself, and other residents along Deal Lake, and tons of people from Nobility Crest and Cedar Village teamed up and worked the planning board. I think it was the planning board of Ocean Township. They were putting a big development in there, and it got voted down 7-0 by the planning board of adjustment, actually. So that's good news. That was up just above 18, west of 18 at the entranceway of Cedar Village. And that plan was nixed. That would have been a huge impact on Deal Lake. So we're happy they're hopefully going to a different direction, and maybe Cedar Village will buy it.
Yeah, regarding the Nobility Crest original project, the one that was accepted and they did build, and they were having stormwater violations, and we all saw that washed of
Right.
mud that came down. We talked back in 2020 about holding them accountable in some way. And you remember, again, I brought up at the last meeting that in July 16, 2020, the DLC passed a resolution to have Hunt, our attorney, submit a request to the Attorney General to enforce the Clean Water Act against Nobility Crest. And I asked if at the last meeting, if we ever did that, if that letter was ever sent, and if so, what was the reply?
It was not sent. And I think I asked Jesse to look into that. And Jesse, you got details of that? What we
And we
decided
just-
to do?
We got the letters back from we sent the pictures that were taken. We sent the letter to their attorney. The attorney sent a letter back, and that was the end of it.
Yeah,
Right,
well,
but
we
this
started
could-
the discussion with Hunt and I, and we met with the attorneys and the owners of Nobility Crest. Nobility Crest. So we're still in that discussion, and we're trying to come up with a peaceful resolution. And that's it. That's all. I have to say.
Yes, and I'm glad that those things are moving forward. What I was asking about was that the DLC passed a resolution in July 2020, the 16th, and we asked our lawyer in that resolution to submit a request to the Attorney General of New Jersey to enforce the Clean Water Act. What I was asking was, did we send that letter? And if we did, what was their response from the Attorney General's office I'm talking about?
Huh?
Yes, the letter was not sent, and the reason for that was that I had insufficient information with which to complete the letter because I couldn't get any of the information from the file on this because at the time, this is 2020, because
Right.
of COVID, the township offices were closed. There was nobody in there. You couldn't get in there. So the alternative letter was written directly to Nobility Crest and which ended up going to their attorney. But no, the letter as it was instructed in the motion was never sent.
Correct.
And that was explained to the commissioners later on that I couldn't get access to the information, so I couldn't complete the letter, which is why we went through with forwarding the letter that went out, and that letter was provided to the commissioners.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Hunt. Let's, I'll move on this. Shoreline protection. We had a great meeting today with Steve, myself, and Jeannie. We got a lot done in a short period of time, which I was happy to see. And we got 2 actions. Jeannie, you want to go over those actions? What do you do?
Well, okay. Well, we had talked about creating a boilerplate to attach to the permits, construction
Oh.
permits.
Yeah, let me get there.
Yeah, and originally our last meeting with Tammy Miller from the NJDEP, she said that there was a lot of confusion in the various towns about what is specific to the lake in terms of permits and the NJDEP regulations. So she advised that we create a boilerplate and have the town put on their pages, like Dawn's got up on the screen here, the construction permit application, that at the bottom of that first paragraph, we thought that would be a good place to insert a box that would say work conducted on Deal Lake waterfront may need additional permits from the NJDEP. And then that NJDEP, that may additional information would be a link to our website. And on our website, we have the guide to Deal Lake property owners. That's pretty specific information for people about regulations about the properties. Now, we noticed when we looked at the various towns, we saw that Asbury Park, for example, has permits PDFs that you download. You can see them in, I can't point, but if you see down below F100 construction permit application, they have those applications right on their website. Ocean Township also has something like Asbury Park where you get the construction permit, you download it, you fill it in, or you can fill it in on the website. But Allenhurst, I think, Interlake and Allenhurst. What else did we look at? We didn't look at.
That's the ones we looked at.
Right. We just looked at Allenhurst and Interlake, and what we saw there was they're still using paper. So we decided that it would be at least until they get their websites similar to those others. I don't know when that would be, but
hey, Jeannie, they may actually use electronic means, but not on it's not on their website.
Not on their website.
Right.
So, and so we were saying, let's give those construction departments, make sure those construction departments have those pamphlets, and ask those towns to make sure that they give those pamphlets out when people come in for construction permits. That was the best we could come up with. If you guys have any ideas as to another way to proceed for the towns that don't have it.
Right now the focus is on Asbury and Ocean. If you guys can help out in Allenhurst, Deal, and Neptune, whatever, hand his brochures. There's only a few houses. There's really only 2 houses in Allenhurst that are affected. one member's right here, Bruce Romer, and your neighbor, you're really the only two houses, I guess three, I'm sorry, and the corner property across from Hubers. So there's three houses that are affected. Neptune's got about four houses, I think we saw. It's limited, and Deal, I think, has 5 or 6. So
I think at least for me, I think, people come and go, they move, not that Bruce is going anywhere, right, Bruce? But but the construction departments in those towns, I think it's important that they have that information too for any kind of permitting, along the lake.
Yeah, they're small operations, Jeannie. They're very, very small operations. And a lot of it's contracted out to other towns. So let's play it with Asbury and Ocean. We can get the brochures to the town's offices. I know Lock Harbor has them, but Lock Harbor has no houses on the lake, technically.
Right.
So we can make sure Allenhurst has them. Bruce, we give more brochures to Bruce. We give them to Eric, and we can give them to Steve Castle. So we can get those out. Okay. I'm going to move on, but thank you, Jeannie. It was really, really good meeting we had.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you want to talk about the letter to Robert Clark or?
No, we don't have to get into that.
Okay.
We are contacting the state, and we'll get more than that next month.
Writing a letter to the NJDEP to having a meeting with them since they've done some reorganization. So we want to have new contacts since Tammy Miller is gone now.
And this is the enforcement and the other groups down in Tom's River we're talking about. Okay,
Yeah.
Thanks. Cart remediation, that's moving along. Each of your towns should be getting a letter. One second. Each of your towns should be getting a notice about access to your properties, the town properties. We're still responsible for talking to the public or the public at large if they have nests on their properties. But the USDA is going to send letters out, and we'll assist them if we find that there's goose nests on the property. I think it starts next month, the surveillance of the shorelines late next month and go into April, May. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's the time frame. But the paperwork has started. And
I heard from Nicole from the USDA, and she already got her letter signed from Asbury Park. That was like a big step to me. So
that's huge.
for that.
Yeah, huge. Yes, Melanie.
About the CORP, I did speak to somebody from the Raptor Association.
Yeah.
And they said that they would be willing to take the CORP.
Okay.
And so it would have to either be fresh or frozen. If it was fresh, in other words, they wouldn't want it if it was laying around for days. It could be a day or so, but they would accept it if it's frozen.
What's rafter? What's the rafter? What's that? I can't remember.
The Raptor. They are a wildlife group that
Birds of prey.
Rehab for birds of prey.
Wow.
And so they have eagles there. They have all kind of birds there. And the guy was very nice and got back to me. I had spoken to him, and he said he'd get back to me, and he did. And he said, yes, they'd be willing to give it a try. They don't know for sure that the birds would eat it, but it's certainly a good thing to do with the carp.
Okay, just if you could send me the email, the contact information, that'd be great.
Okay.
I'll send and I'll send it to Steve too.
And so then we'd have to, of course, figure out a way to get the carp up there. I don't know. I mean, I could meet the guy somewhere, maybe. I'm willing to do that.
Yeah, and we got local people to take some of. Yeah, we give it a shot. Send them a couple fish and see how they like it. If I catch one, I'll throw it in my freezer.
Just so there's no undue expectations or whatever. I mean, I've done this before, and it's a stinky, slimy mess. Okay, so don't think you're going to put it like in the back of your trunk, Melanie. I'm sorry, but you'd be regretting that for the rest of the life of that.
I don't plan on carrying them up in my hand, or anything. No, they'd have to be, pretty packaged up. But
I got you. It's a good idea though. We give it a shot.
Okay.
We can get some sample fish for you.
Right. I mean, really the best approach is if we can get some of the fishermen from Belmar to come and get them.
Right.
And because they use them for like lobster and crab bait, and so that's been the usual way that we get rid of them. Or if there's farmers in the area that want organic fertilizer. So when we get closer, we can start like putting out feelers. But the Raptor Trust would be great. I'm just warning you, it's not, it's a slimy, stinky mess. Let me just leave it at that. Okay.
On that note, yeah, we'll get back to the geese next month, but they are around. The geese are around, and again, anything you can do, annoy them, get off your lawn. Lasers work. Banging dogs, whatever noise you can chase away with is a wonderful tool. So
that was in a continuation of a stinky, slimy mess, right?
yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
And with this lovely spring weather, they are starting to pair up a little bit. I have no.
Yeah.
Only in interlegged where the turtles are, right? That's it. All right, let's go. Clean water action. Steve and I met with them about 3 weeks ago, and the plan of attack, we got unfortunately we have to wait till more residents are in town to do the true testing, but we're going to hook up with the Township Ocean Sewer Authority and do some preliminary work. We know the hot spots, so we're going to start working. I think that's the essence of what we discussed, right, Steve? Okay, so that's continuing, and again, we may do some testing upstream. I think we had 5 or 6 locations upstream that we want to hit on Harvey Brook, and also on the stream going up to Seaview. So I think we have some more work to do up there, and we have to wait till more people are in town. You just don't get the right readings. The restoration of the 4 lakes, at least 2 of them, we got Ocean Townships moving out. They're going to be taking them. The plan is to take Fireman's Pond, remove the sediment, and also sediment from Terrace, the back of Terrace Pond. I'm sorry, Terrace Pond, the back of it by the golf course, and that's going to be supposedly put on the golf course. It's not the same exit point on Terrace Pond that we used in the past. They're actually going to go in from the golf course side, Steve and Peter. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. And I also made a comment about the Fireman's Pond. They were saying, oh, we may not be able to take it all because we won't have enough space. So we talked about various different locations, and one of them was to keep it right there, just to fill in part of Fireman's Pond with the sediment, because it's better to have a deeper section, but less of it. So we're talking about that, or bring it up into Neptune section by where the JCP&L power station is, because they need to build a wall around that complex. Why build a complex made of concrete when you can use Deal Lake muck? So
wait a minute. So have they tested this sediment, Don?
They did.
Have they tested it for contaminants?
They did. There's standard arsenic, as what I told. I think that's the only one I heard was arsenic.
Because I'm just saying you need to be careful with transporting the sediment and then putting it onto some other piece of land.
They know that.
Okay. As long as they know that, I don't want to see the commission get put on the spot for that, because
we're not in charge of
contaminants. If there is contaminants, that land becomes contaminated, and that becomes a problem.
Yeah, it's being done 100% by Ocean Township.
Okay.
Peter, you know anything else, Pete? No. So.
No, John.
Okay. They're supposed to start this, I think, in the October-November timeframe. It's all planning this summer. And then they're also using the county. They're going to use the county backhoods, similar to what we did in the past, right? The county mosquito commission bucket trucks they're going to use, and the ocean and the township trucks, and they're going to distribute it right on the golf course. They're making hills on the golf course, supposedly. Okay. Next, and with I'll get to the other one later. Lollipop. I want to get to Lollipop into business. Water testing, Monmouth University. We have Dr. Abel coming in 2 months, right? April
at the April meeting. And pardon me in advance, but I originally told him 6 p.m. And then I saw in the notes, in the minutes from last month, that we have 6:15. So is it 6 or 6:15?
I think it's 6:15.
We said 6:15.
6:15 for sure. Okay, I'll tell them. Yeah, I just want to know, because I'm going to advertise it as 6:15 rather than.
And we're going to put in, and Jesse will put that in the advertisement for our meeting. I guess you could mention that too.
Can you say that too, Jesse? When you? Oh, great. Okay. Do you want a description from me? Just a short title or anything of the work?
I'm going to do what we did last time. The same thing I did. I'll send it to you before I mail it to the papers.
Great, thank you,
You want-
Jeff.
Okay, thanks.
Can I just add one thing on that? Because Jason did reach out to me and he asked if I could sort of like co-present with him. He's going to deal with all the data, but I still have to work this out with him. He wanted me to kind of go over perhaps this, how that relates to some of the restoration work that's either planned or has been done for
That's
the
good.
lake.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to work that out with him, stay within the time frame, et cetera, et cetera. But
Oh, that'd be
yeah,
great.
he reached out to me about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
That's
I had
awesome.
asked him if he would, and I'm glad that he did that. So thank you, Steve, for willing to do that. I think it'll make it very interesting, that connection of the two things. Yeah,
That's
It's a good
perfect.
collaboration.
yeah.
Awesome. The new DEP grant, stormwater management grant that we got from the DEP. It's a slow moving object. We went through one question answer thing about federal audits and federal this and federal that, and I was confused. We filled it out the best we can. Steve looked at it, and our accountant looked at it. We and Jesse, and we answered the questions to set it in. And then we had a question on a new computer thing, codes called SAMS. Got a little hat on it and everything. It's real cute. But we actually had a SAMS number, but it's been expired. It's probably related to the dredging of the lake in the East End. So Ricky, our CFO, is working on updating it. Jesse, do we know if we got it done yet or what?
I don't think so. He's having a problem with that.
Yeah, everybody says it's very difficult to use the
Yeah.
system. So we're doing our best. The state told us, thanked us for the first submission and told them we're working on the SAMs. We also have a meeting, Ricky, myself, and I'm not sure if Peter's guys are going to be there. We have a meeting with them on I think the March 7th, I believe.
This is good for the grant that we got.
This is the grant we just got.
Okay,
And there's a meeting on, going over the procedures and paperwork. But we don't expect to actually get a contract with the state, I think, for another 6 months. Is that correct, Pete and Steve? Or
Yes, it is.
okay, so
I
we
think
can't
maybe
do
what would be
anything.
appropriate,
Yeah.
is at a future meeting in a
Yeah.
month or two, maybe Steve and I can, not a presentation, but just give a little overview of what the project entails, because
Okay.
we've seen this in a couple other towns where this grant was awarded, that the towns start throwing out comments about what they want done. And what they want done is what was included in the grant application. It's not like you can change,
Correct.
I don't want to say midstream. You can change the scope of work because it's already approved for the scope that was submitted for the grant application.
So it's all focused
But
right
keep
there.
Matt Mariano involved in that, because he's the one who made the submission and he's the one who knows the
Right.
technical side of the submission requirements.
In essence, it's dealing with the area between PetSmart and the old Acme building, which is now Monmouth County, not a facility.
Yeah,
right.
And that's it. That's the area we're
It's
focusing
along the
on.
loop road. We have it defined, we have a plan, drawing, and we have a scope of work that was presented.
Correct. Yep. Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
and Matt put that, he's got access to Sage, which is DEP's required interface, a web-based interface. So he's the person that is going to really be dealing with the mechanics of getting the contract to us, back to DEP, all the rest of that stuff.
Maybe in the May timeframe, Peter, because we'll have the meeting in March. We got the water quality thing in April. So maybe
Perfect.
in the May timeframe will be perfect for that. And we'll have more residents in town too.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Okay, in my possession is the Oprah information we got from the DEP. I think I sent it to Steve. Steve, did you have time to look it over yet or not?
Not yet, no.
It's quite
Sorry.
not huge. It's not a huge volume of material, but it talks about the notice of violation that was sent by the state to JCP&L. It also had the response from JCP&L, which I thought was rather comical. So we got that information. We're looking at it, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it. I'm just waiting for Steve's evaluation, and then we'll move on from there. But it's not over. They're still talking. The good news is they know we're watching, and it looks like the DEP is going to change procedures for the utilities when they empty out these vats. So that's the good news. They're just not going to throw it in the street and let it run down the curb line anymore. And after that, a lot of the businesses, the liquor store, the automotive, and the food store, people had to cross the curb line to get in the store and track mud in. I didn't hear that story until a couple weeks ago. So it didn't only affect us in the lake; it affected the businesses along that path, the water. So anyway, it's more to come on that. We'll come back to that. Okay. Jesse, new business for you.
Yes, we're going to authorize the request for proposals for the 2023, sorry about that, Deal Lake Algicide and Herbicide Control Program. Are we doing that again this year, the weed treatment?
Yeah, you got the auditor first, though.
Oh, you know what? I took that away because we're going to hold that for another month. Sorry.
Okay.
Yep. So we're going to authorize the request. You still want to do the weed treatment this summer, right?
Yes.
Well, we got to keep it available. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So we
got
need
to
to
put bids
authorize,
out.
right.
Right,
And
so
Steve,
I need to make just some slight modifications to that, just to, bring it back up to date. But I'm assuming we're just going to keep the treatment areas the same as we did last year.
Yeah.
And and then leave it up to the vendors to determine which is the best herbicide to utilize. So, yeah, I'll check that out, Jesse. I'll have,
Okay.
I can get my updates to you, within a week.
okay. As
Okay.
long as we have the authorization, then we could just advertise whenever you want.
That'd be so moved by me. I'll move it.
Okay.
Motion.
Second.
I
I'll
will second.
Everybody's like, yes.
Everybody. Alan Hurst? Is he still there? Where'd he go?
Yes,
Giant.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken,
Yes.
Loch Arbor,
Yes,
Neptune,
yes.
and Ocean.
Yes.
And just for I'm sorry, Jesse. Wait,
No,
you
go
had-
ahead.
Steve, just for clarification for us and the public, it's the Colonial Terrace area. Could you just describe the area that you treated last year that you expect to treat this year?
Well, we basically had 3 areas identified as potential treatment areas and would be at the determination and request of the commission. So the primary area was Colonial Terrace. The second area was, the finger just to the south, and then Hollow Brook, and then a very small section of that extension from the Hollow Brook, just east of Wickapaco Drive.
And that's only if needed.
All three are only if needed. And, so the winning contractor understands that it could be all 3, it could be none of the 3. But, the treatment worked out really well on Colonial Terrace last year. And so, we'll see how things look this year. But with it being a warm winter, stuff is probably growing to beat the band. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Steve.
What would that mean? Then it would be too late to do it, or they should start sooner?
no, they can't start any sooner. DEP, restricts the application of herbicides. It can't be done any earlier than April. And then we have other issues with flow. So
Right.
typically to get the biggest return on the investment, it's really timing it late May, early June. And maybe, depending on what we see in terms of growth, perhaps even into the middle of June. But it's just variable from year to year. A lot of it has to do with flow, how turbid it is, how much growth, et cetera. But it can't be done any sooner than April the 1st. And there's no advantage to doing it, any sooner. None of this stuff is pre-emergent. You'd have to wait until there's some plant growth for this, for any of these chemicals to have an effect.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's, Jesse, one more you got in there.
The next one is a resolution authorizing a shared services agreement between the Township of Ocean and the Deal Lake Commission for Municipal Clerk and Chief Financial Officer's services. It's paying for, you guys will pay Ocean.
I'll explain.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll explain. So, and this was Rick's idea, and I thought it was ingenious. We'd be paying on a quarterly basis after the quarter's over, the salaries of the clerk and the financial officer to the Township of Ocean, since they both work for them. And we want to directly pay the employees. We pay the township, and the township includes that in their pay. I don't know if you get one check or you get multiple, probably one
No,
check.
we get one check.
And that goes into their accounting for their retirement, which I thought was pretty fair. So it doesn't cost us a dime more. It just, matter of fact, we can hold our money a little longer.
That's
and collect the 2 cents interest. But then it goes into the coffers of Ocean and then into their hands, and they get benefits of that. I thought it was wonderful. So
And Ricky would like to come to the next meeting just to introduce himself and say hi.
sure.
Okay.
So that's I won't move that motion. Can somebody else move that motion? Please?
Second. Asbury.
No, somebody's got to move it.
Oh, I thought, okay, you can't move it, so I'll move.
I will second.
Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes,
Interlaken,
Yes.
Clark Harbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
and Ocean.
Present.
And thank you.
Okay.
Any other new business done?
Yeah, I got a couple things. There's a big project over 30 acres. What is going between, I think, the planning board and Ocean. It's in West Allenhurst. It's in my town. It's basically almost a third of West Allenhurst. It's over 30 acres. It's between Roselle, Wickapecka, Millland Farms, and the golf course. It's a big chunk of land. It's 6 or 7 properties that are conjoined, but they have the same owner. And I did see the document, and they're asking for wetlands delineation. So I'm going to get some of that paperwork to Steve and Peter. Peter's already, he can't do it, but I'll give it to Steve. Let him look at it. It's harmless right now. There's no plans of building anything. There's not going to be 1,000 houses or anything like that. It's just it's finding out how much land they can build on in that area. It is a very nice area. It's beautiful. One property used to be Senator Stout's house on the corner of Roselle and Wickapecka, and there's a lot of big homes back there. Actually, the home that woman died, the fire and the woman that died, that's part of the property also.
Truly.
Yep. So that whole area we're talking about, it's just thought you should know that'll affect the lake in a big way if it's not done properly. It could be wonderful. It could be fine, but the Environmental Commission brought it to my attention, and they're concerned also, and it's a long project, and we'll see what happens. Lollipop Pond. There was a lot of action on Lollipop Pond, which is the pond between it's one of massive between Park Boulevard and Nick's Pizzeria, right by the firehouse. It's a relatively large body of water, and there was a whole bunch of actions about some land going around it that was going to be vacated. Well, it wasn't vacated. The property owner took there was a fence issue before the person bought the house, and it wasn't resolved. She didn't know about it, unfortunately for her, and so there were some issues. I'm going to add this person.
You did a good job.
And they cleaned it up. I know Jesse was involved a little bit, but it looks like the land's going to be protected, and maybe she gets a little piece of that. I'm not sure how.
No,
it's
she was once they told her they weren't vacating it and we needed the land back within a half hour. She had her people there. The fence was down, and she put it on her property line.
Right.
So
So we'll see what happens with that. But the other piece was it's gotten a lot of questions from the residents, and they're talking to the town council about various different things they can do to make it better. So it's great news. We always like to have it dredged, but they're definitely going to clean it up a little bit because there's concerns for people with putting leaves in it, debris, and so there's some good stuff happening in Lollipop Pond. Trees are still an issue. Jeannie and I were talking about it today. We still have trees getting cut down left and right all over at every town almost. So we got to try to team up with our Shade Tree Commission, see we can plant more trees. I mean, that's really one way out of it is planting nice, solid, oaks and other hardwoods around the area to give us some more vegetation. But we still have the tree issues, and each town, has to do their own home part. Ocean's got its issues, and hopefully the Shade Tree Commission can get a handle on it. The Coke plant, if you notice, the Coke plant's under construction, so I guess they're going in accordance with their plan, and I don't see any major runoff. It seems like they're complying with all the rules, so I've been pretty happy. I'll keep an eye on it. If you guys drive by that lake, keep your eye on it. What's that? Yeah,
Every day.
That's right. So that's that. That's all I have under new business. Anybody else have anything? Okay, let's have the commissioner's last word before we go into the public session. Carol, what you got?
I love going first, Don. Thank you. Which is probably better because my puppies are about to start screaming. So I'm following up on my last month's commissioner's last word, which was my, idea for like kind of a who knew about Deal Lake. So today I'm going to follow up about a really great app for people who walk around the lake. They walk their dogs or they're walking for recreation, and it is it's not going to show up. It's by the Cornell School of Ornithology. It's called Merlin. And when you download the app, it downloads a bird pack, a pack of potential birds that is indigenous to your area at different seasons of the year. And it's really simple to operate. And with a few simple clicks, you just can punch in, and estimate.
Hold on there.
Yeah, it's on our website. We have it as,
No, but I got it right here.
Oh,
It's
that's
awesome.
great.
You're going to just click in 3 colors that you see on the bird, what the bird was doing when you saw it, and it comes up with a list of potential birds, and it also will show you birds at different stages of their life cycle, because their coloration will be different.
That's very
So
cool.
we have so many interesting different visitors on our lake at this time of year. I've been watching the mergansers for a couple of weeks. We have hooded mergansers, and I haven't quite seen them yet, but they usually do come. We usually get brants, which look like Canadian geese, but without the white eye stripe, and they're smaller. So there's lots of cool things, and I'm going to definitely share some of that information with Jeannie so she can get it on the website and try and take some pictures. And
it's on the website. Remember we put up, it's a great app. Thank you for sharing that with the public.
And my last word is that we do have a wayward canoe on the western side of the railroad bridge between the roundabout and 7-Eleven. And Don put that on, I think you guys put that on the website this morning with some pictures.
Facebook's got it. Hold on one second.
Oh, Facebook.
Let me get 1 second.
No, I hope it's not mine.
There it is.
It's a lovely white canoe.
Oh no,
That's
mine's
it.
not white. No. Oh good.
It looks like Chief Wanamassas.
Oh,
It's been there for about a week.
Okay.
Does it look familiar?
Looks pretty beat up.
It looks pretty beat up. That might end up in the next collection. Oh, that's
we could use it for cleanup, Don.
Right?
yeah.
Still floats.
We'll hide it over by the where the pipe comes out by Asbury High School. So anyway, all right. Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
Let me see who's next. Jeannie, you're next. You're next on the screen.
Okay. Well, I'm grateful to all the commissioners and for approving that the DLC become the coordinators for all 7 towns with the USDA goose remediation effort. It's been received well in Asbury Park, which has kind of been resistant to participating in the goose remediation. I hope they're not mad at me for using that word, but now they're not. And I expect to hear, I'm having a meeting with the leaders of the officials, and I expect to hear that they will pay their share for the remediation. Now that we have all 7 towns involved, I think it's great. We can really move forward with getting at least the lakefront geese really treated well, because that's been part of the problem with the USDA is, like she says, the geese don't know the border lines. So now she doesn't have to be concerned. The USDA person doesn't have to be concerned about, is this Asbury or Neptune or Ocean? When she's out paddling around, she knows she can cover the whole lake wherever there are nests, and we can report them to her when we see them. So just to remind everybody, that's coming. And if you're seeing geese already, you may be seeing nests soon. And, you can send to the DLA Commission and say where you're seeing the nest, be specific about it, so that when she starts doing her paddling, we can give her those addresses. And then also we'll be helping to get the notification or the permission letters.
We're gonna go, Jeannie. We're gonna go over real detail next month. We'll go over in detail.
Month, right.
So thanks for your comments. Let me roll on.
Everybody, yeah.
Bruce, how are we doing?
Let me see. Very briefly, I've been spending the better part of the last 3 months down south, But when I've been back, I have noticed quite a large quantity of geese for this time of year. And my only suggestion is everybody watch carefully for those nests, because we really need to control that population. I think we all remember a few years ago how bad it was, and we don't want to see that recur.
Okay, thank
John,
you.
could you bring up where people can contact us if they do see a nest?
I'm going to do that next month. I'm not going to do it.
Okay,
now.
since Bruce was.
We'll have a quality time on goose nesting.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's Eric.
Yeah, I don't have a Deal Lake thing, but Neptune just recently, I think, completed our living shoreline on the south side of our
Sure.
portion of the Shark River. I think Peter Vocking had a hand in doing that, and and Hurricane Sandy, that area was pretty much the same height as the road, so they got hit pretty hard there. So everybody was talking about a bulkhead, and then they kind of drifted away from a bulkhead, and we ended up putting a living shoreline in. It's pretty neat watching them put it in. They use a lot of environmental friendly devices as well. They use a lot of shells, clam shells and different types of shells, and they put them in a bag and they just build it up. And it's pretty interesting how they do it. And right now it's working good, but we haven't had any storms, so I'm kind of interested to see how it'll hold up, because it just abruptly stops. Where we don't have any more property that we own. When we go up to the Shark River Yacht Club, we just basically stop there with the living shoreline. But along that area, it should hold up pretty well. And I don't know if that's something that can be utilized along the Deal Lake or not, but it's for anybody who wants to take a ride, it's something really good to see. And it's on the south side of
Eric.
Shark River.
We got a person that's heavily involved with it. Ed Winder is from Asbury Park, the assistant. He's on the call now. He's helping out a group in New York Harbor on putting these living shorelines with shells, with oyster shells.
Yeah.
I think it's oyster shells. And it's a big effort. And they were doing it around the New York section. He's trying to working with Vingo Powell and trying to get it on the New Jersey side. So it's pretty. Ed, you can chime in here if you don't mind. Is he listening? I'm saying he may not be listening, but it's pretty cool. I can send you the link, and I'll send you.
Don, I wouldn't miss a word.
There he is. Okay. What do you think,
here
Ed?
I am.
Can you mention that to Eric or exchange
Well,
information
name of the
with him when you get
project.
a chance?
Sure. Name of the project is called Billion Oyster Project.
That's it.
And what they do is they take right from a larvae, plant it onto a shell, and build the oyster population, which works as a barrier. And if the oyster reefs were in place before Sandy, Staten Island and Coney Island would have been spared the disaster that they had. It's a very, very successful project. Whether you get involved or not, I suggest that everybody at least take a look at it and be informed about it. And I'm trying to get that project down here into New Jersey. Billion Oyster Project.
Yeah, I don't think we did that on the Shark River. We just put the shells in a bag to take up space. But we have done that
It makes a good
that
barrier.
where we did it in the Barnegat. It works very well.
Get But an Eric, opportunity to check it out. On Shark River, on the project we did, we got permits from the state of New Jersey, from the Army Corps, and partnered with the American Littoral Society. So the genesis of it was not only protection of property, but oyster population and the crab population in Shark River.
We're not allowed to have oysters in the Shark River, I don't
No,
believe.
we're not, unfortunately. So the crab population is going to be benefited by this project as well.
Well, very
Great.
good, Eric.
Thank you, Don.
No problem.
Thanks, Ed.
Let's keep rolling.
You got it.
Next, Melanie.
Not, but just back to the tree thing for a minute. Margot and I have been, pushing and pushing to get a tree ordinance here. And unfortunately did not get it in yet because the house at the point, as you come into Lock Arbor, took down 3 huge, old growth trees, just like that. So hopefully we can get something.
Thank you, Melanie. I forgot one thing on new business, guys. The cleanup date. What are you thinking? What's 25th of March for the cleanup date? I don't want to push it too far out. Palm Sunday is the 2nd, right? Does that sound like a good, usually it's around the 30th,
Sounds good to me.
right?
March
I think, does that sound pretty good for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we need a motion, Jesse?
sure.
Okay.
Yep.
I move that we have the deal like cleanup from 9 to 11. We only need 2 hours, 9 to 11 on the
On
What?
March 20
March.
March 25th?
I will
Okay.
say, well, say 9/12. You know, it
Okay.
takes time to clean up.
Yeah.
clean up our debris.
Someone second?
I'll second Neptune.
Yeah. Allenhurst,
Yes.
Asbury Park,
Yes.
Interlaken? Lockhart, yes.
I was out of the room for that, so I can't vote on that. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. Okay. Lock Arbor,
Yes.
Neptune,
Yes.
Ocean?
I don't know. Carol, are you going to be around on the 25th March?
I don't know.
Okay.
Look,
I'll
for
vote
what?
yes. We'll figure it out later. We'll figure
Okay.
it
Okay.
I should be.
Okay. Do
Okay.
you want to open the meeting up to the public?
Sure, go ahead.
A motion to open the meeting to the public?
I will offer.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public.
Be out there.
I just wanted to say that I had volunteered to do the water sampling, but I wasn't sure who I was supposed to contact, and maybe it's a fait accompli at this point, but I'm still willing to do that. Somebody can point me in the right direction.
Patricia, did we communicate with each other to put you in touch with Erin? Did you ever hear from Erin Conlon?
No.
Okay, would you send to the DLA commission, do you know how to use the, or to me or Dawn, just say you're interested and I'll make sure that she gets in touch with you for training.
Okay.
It's never too late. It's year round. So,
Oh, all right. All right, fine.
yeah, so send to Dawn. You have Dawn's email address, I think,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
send it to him and he'll forward it to me.
Welcome to Interlaken, by the way.
Thank you.
Full-time resident now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Great.
February 3rd.
All right.
Patricia, you have an iguana over your left shoulder. Be careful. Good to see
That was
you.
good. Anybody else? Anybody else out there?
I think James Veach had his hand up.
Oh, go ahead, James.
Good evening. Thank you all for your service. I had several items I wanted to raise. The first one, the letter to the Attorney General in 2020 should have gone. That COVID slowed down the production of documents is not an excuse. And if the letter can be sent now, it should be sent immediately. We should leave it to the Attorney General what action he wants to take for violations of the Clean Water Act. We're being too passive. We're sitting back, we're sitting on our hands. We have these laws. We can't enforce these laws. The Attorney General can enforce these laws. We should get that letter to him ASAP, and we should follow up and see what he does with it. The Nobility Crest, I hope the DLA Commission isn't trying to take any credit for slowing things down with the planning board in Ocean, because I can't see anything that the DLA Commission did. That individuals from the commission may have gone to a meeting along with dozens and dozens of other residents. Doesn't say much.
Actually, hundreds.
I stand corrected. The fact that somebody from the DLA Commission went to a planning board meeting as an individual doesn't imply in any way that the DLA Commission did anything. I don't see anything, any letters, any postings, nothing on the website. I don't see any evidence that the DLA Commission took a stand on this. I mean, we dodged a bullet. We're fortunate, but I don't see the DLA Commission as having any right to take any responsibility whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it seems to me a dereliction that we didn't write, that we didn't take a position. The issue on the money that's going to go direct. I can't quite figure this transaction. Money will now go, instead of going directly to the clerk and the financial officer, CFO, will now circulate through the town. And that will therefore create an additional pension obligation of the town. Why was this? Why have we changed this transaction? And in what way does it benefit the taxpayers? With respect to the Oprah request and the PSE&G, I commend the commissioner, someone, for filing an Oprah to find out what is happening with whatever the PSE&G did that was spilled into the lake over there. That's all very good news. But the question from the commissioner, or the chairman, was, well, what do we do with this information? Here is my suggestion. Post it on the DLA Commission website. I mean, if it was obtained through the DLC, then that information that came to the DLC deserves to be on the DLC's website so that we, the people who pay the taxes, can see what happened. I think it's a great idea, but let's not hide it. Let's put it out there. I don't follow this discussion about Roselle Avenue and the big house, and
Jim,
I know where the crime
you got about
occurred.
20 seconds. You got 20 seconds, Jim.
I asked for a few more minutes. Okay, I asked for a few more minutes.
You got 15 seconds. You got,
Don't cut me off.
You got more
That is not
time.
right. That's not the way
People
to
have
treat
3
a
minutes.
taxpayer or resident.
I'm sorry. Let me address what you have already spoken to already. Okay. Number one, the letter was to the Attorney General. We discussed in a meeting. We decided not to send it. We decided to go directly to them. Number two, the planning board, we put it on our Facebook page. We put it on our website about the meeting. We try to get people motivated to go. We went, I spoke twice, and I said my piece. I thought I did a pretty good job. Not taking credit. A lot of other people said wonderful things too. So did Jeannie. The money, that was the decision we just made today. I see no problem with it. These people are working as government servants for us, and it's another way to get a pension, and it's through the state pension plan. And they earn that. They earn that every day. And in terms of the Oprah request, thank you for that. And we were going to discuss it. Steve's going to give the comments. We might post. I don't know if it's legal to post, but we'll talk to Hunt about that. If we legally post it, we'll try to post it. And that's it. Thank you for your public session. Any other public people? Bob? Mr. Bob there?
Yeah, I would like to just address one thing that Jim spoke about. Two things. First, yes, we did, Jim. We did post the information and on the website, and email blasts went out twice on that topic, encouraging people to attend those meetings. And just going back to what you had said about the nobility crest issue. Back then, one of the other things that we said, in addition to sending a letter to the Attorney General, was that Hunt said that we needed to have an executive session about that issue, and we never had it. So maybe we do need to have an executive session to.
Jeannie, I'll just correct you. We already talked about this. We're not going any further. We had a meeting, we had a discussion, and we decided we're going this direction, and that was it. And we also had our experts that we talked about. It was very hard to prove anything in terms of volume and systems. It looked horrible, and that was the decision. We all talked about this, and certainly, we forget about things, but it was important. We did discuss this, and we made a decision to go with them because it's very hard to prosecute these things, and the amount of volume and what damages there are.
Right, legally, right? Like,
and we're going to try to get the most out of it we can. That's why we did what we did. I'm going to stop it here, and we're going to go to another public person. Whoever wants to discuss. We have a couple more people on the call. Anybody else? Going once, going twice, done. Let's close public meeting right now.
A motion to close the public hearing?
I'll offer.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? A motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second. Asbury Park.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, everybody.